Hello survivors, I'm the SurvivalVis, and welcome back to Call of the Wild. Or, well, the Hunter Call of the Wild. So this is just going to be another episode in our little wind-down series. I think we'll just go off and find a little trail to hike along and just have a little chat and just relax some more. So towards the end of the last video, there was some talk I had about my definition of a true hunter. I'll expand that a little more as well here. A true hunter isn't somebody who looks just for the kill. It's someone who respects their prey they're after, and also doesn't want to cause any prolonged or extraneous or unnecessary harm involved in a hunt. It's something I feel that can be really spiritual and deep meaning, but isn't always gets a chance to come out that way with how it can be depicted. It's one of those, you put yourself a little bit back into the flow of the food chain and how the ecosystem works. We really try distancing ourselves as people, I think, from where we've always come from, the wild. As much as we want to say we're so different than the animals and that, it's true, we have our differences, but we've still stemmed from them as an origin. We've stemmed from the wild as humans. We've evolved through and gotten this intelligence. And we take it, I think, for granted that we're not as distant as we try to make ourselves to be. Okay, just going into another region of the map here. So it's just something that I feel hunting, it can be a way of keeping you connected to that base, those foundations, those roots where we stem from, that we really need to keep in mind. If you don't know where your roots are, you're just going to be blown around, basically. Oh, is there... Oh, just a rock over there, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, just some rocks. So that's a little bit more to extend on my chat about what I feel hunting can mean and how you should have a little more education in something when you make your opinions. And I also mentioned a little thing about what I'm probably going to make the major talk of this episode to be, and that is the Epic Games Store. And how it is not something... how basically everything going around and what it's done. I'm not going to give you the kind of step-by-step of what the Game Store is. I think it's... if you've heard of it, you probably already know a little bit of why it's causing some controversy and some issues. Now, I don't support it. I can't support it because of its practices so far. The idea sounds good. Another just platform out there to try to allow developers, developers and publishers, that's something we need to talk about in a little bit too, another platform to be able to sell their products on and just reach a wider audience. That sounds practically fine and what we could really use, to be honest. However, Epic Games Store has done practices which are not exactly moral or business ethical, in my opinion. And this is where I'm going to talk about what the steps are, or basically the divisions of what this issue is. So you have developers. They're the ones who are making the games, putting the time into code, model, art, sound, all that stuff. They're the ones who are building the games. Then you have the publishers. The ones who are selling it, who are giving the rights for it to be sold, who are finding the audience and making it available for the people to buy. And basically, for you to be able to purchase it. The problem is the developers recently have been getting a lot of flack that they should not have had at all. What do I mean by that? Well, one of the most infamous cases, and the one that really had me, and has me, incredibly wary about supporting the Epic Store and its business, has been what they've done with Metro Exodus. It was a game that was up for pre-order for months on Steam. And it took pre-orders, and it had no problem taking them. And then less than, I have to say it was less than 2 months. It might have been only around a month. I don't know the exact timing, just because I'm not looking it up right now. I'm in the game with you guys. Well, I say with you guys, but more just kind of talking, giving you a little bit of background to something to watch and see and look around and just enjoy a bit. But then, just before its release, it came out and Epic was going to get it as an exclusive. So all pre-orders were still going to be honored on Steam. I think that would have been basically kind of... what's the word I want to look for here? No, not that call. That's the one I want to use. So let's get ourselves up to a little spot we can kind of watch for the coyote. And we need, I think it's this one. Let me just double check the inventory before we do. Yeah, this is our 223, so that's the exact one we want. But less than 2 months and it was basically ripped off of Steam in order to become an exclusive. If you are ever in talks with company as a developer, publisher for where you're going to get your game, you do not allow yourself to be giving pre-orders for a platform it's going to be taken off of. That should just be downright common sense. It unfortunately wasn't, and that caused, as you imagine, quite a bit of anger, an issue with it. An issue I still do have with it. And I can't jump. So I can't really climb onto that for a nice little view of what's coming. Shoot. Okay, well, we'll improvise a bit. Get ourselves a little lower. Yeah, a bit misty, so it may be hard to see it coming in, but we should possibly be able to spot it along the path here. But create a lot of issue and should never have actually been allowed to get to that point. Epic Games Store came out and said, we never want to see that happen again, we're going to try to avoid that. Okay, your first step out into the industry, not exactly your best one, but you at least admit the mistake you made. Then you go into Twitter. And after a couple of months, they go back on that. They will continue to do that. And in fact, they did do that. I think the game is, I want to say Anno 1800 or something like that. It's another one. On Steam for pre-orders for quite a while now, and ripped off so that way Epic could get it. Okay, you've made the same mistake again. Can't really give you as much support or any real... I can understand that. No, you deliberately know what you did that time. Can't say support that at all. Oh, that's just gorgeous, isn't it? So, okay, you've already made that mistake there. And then Twitter also, then another tweet comes out that, you know what, even talking it over, we're going to keep allowing the publishers, developers be the ones to make those decisions. We're going to keep doing exclusives. We'll rip things off of whatever stores we want when we're after them, if the other people allow. So, yeah, that's not exactly a good foot forward if you're trying to be an open and understanding platform, are you? And then we have a case of Phoenix Point. What Phoenix Point is, it's going to be another game coming out, but it was funded on some of the basis that it would be releasing to Steam. Snatched by Epic Store again. And the problem is, it's not even a finished product that's been snatched. It was only a Kickstarter-funded project. There's not even a beta build that backers could be playing right now, I'm pretty sure. It's basically just sniped it right off before it could even go to the platform it said it would be out on. And that's a big one. That really irks me. These people don't even have anything for what they funded for you so far. Oh, is there something down there? Or am I just seeing things? I guess I'm just seeing things. I thought I saw something moving down there. Yeah, we may even just sit here while I blab a little bit, because this is really gorgeous to look at, isn't it? Yeah, just like a nice shot like that. But the people who fund it don't even have any physical things behind it. It's just, they wanted to help see it made, and that was one of the things they said it would come to. That is completely disregarded now, because you want to take the handout or the buyout from Epic Games Store. it's really, really unethical if you put some thought into it. You're basically taking people's money, saying you are going to give this, and you're completely backstabbing them. If Epic Games Store really wanted to push themselves as another platform, there's a lot of things I think they should be changing and doing differently. One of these big things, why don't they just have a range of games to be bought through it? Everything on there almost seems close to an Epic Store exclusive. Why don't you just push to have... You guys want to release on another platform? Would you like to do it on ours too? Why push exclusives? Just push people have the option for it. Why do you have to be, we can't have anything on ours that's on someone else's? That's going to give you some ground to be able to build yourself up on. If you want ground to be able to build yourself on, just do good relations for your consumers. Good will always sell. Just make it so that way it's another choice people have. You have a lot of players in Fortnite. Have it so that way if they go to load it up, they can see a page of the store as something that comes up and, oh, hey, would you look at that? There's a new game on here that maybe I'll try picking up. It's on Steam and this. Wow, why don't I go with this? So there's one step, is don't even push for exclusivity. Just push to have titles available through your platform for people to buy. I know it's something that... Epic does have a big leap to try to get a footing on with how Steam is, but you're also not taking some of what should be, I feel, more obvious and more returning steps, basically, or feedback steps. Something where you can take the steps and you know you'll be getting some feeling back and some progress made in your ultimate goal. Yeah, we'll just keep going for a little bit. I thought maybe we'd hear the coyote coming again, but I think we might have spooked it off or something. Alright, okay. Going back to Epic Store. So, I can't support that kind of thinking, where it will rip things off of other platforms where people can already be pre-purchasing. You can aim for a simultaneous release, and I don't see why you don't. And now the next problem I have, Steam, I admit, it sounds like a huge amount to really be kind of getting taken off of your earnings at 30% of all purchases. But there's also something you need to remember too, and I'm glad I was doing some reading on a site or two about a recent tweet that also has me annoyed at Epic Games Store. Is that there's actually a lot you're getting with Steam as a release on it. You're getting the servers to host the game for any updates or that. You're getting basically a free forum to keep in touch with your community. And you're also getting a built-in review system for it as well. Where's all this on Epic Games Store? If I'm on Steam and I see a game where I think I might want to buy it and see what it's like, I can go into the reviews to see what people are saying about it. I can go into discussions to see what forum talks are and post about it. Hell, I can even see screenshots and artwork that people upload and add to it. There's a community to it. Where are these features for Epic so you actually know what you're getting? Where's a feedback system to let you know if the game's okay or not? Why push for Epic exclusive? Sorry, don't know what the hell happened in my throat there. Why push for Epic exclusives when you don't even have a proper front for how you can really interact with your customer base? Or let your customer base interact amongst themselves? Oh, look at that gorgeous view. So that's another thing I want to see them do. And if they can... It's kind of a tear right now. There's a tear I have with the Epic Games Store and some of the games coming to it that I do want to support the games, but I don't want to support the game store. And another thing that just came up recently, just today actually, I was browsing PCGamer.com. It's a site I go through, learn a few things. Granted, some of the journalism out there isn't the best, but there's a recent tweet that was sent out by one of the high-ups at Epic Games that really irks me. It was basically attempted market manipulation against a company for something they say they'll offer, or they may do. It was, if Steam goes back to basically matching their revenue splitting, then Epic will stop pushing for exclusives. You're basically trying to bully another company by a practice you're doing. And you might think, well, Steam's a giant company and basically business. How can it be bullied? It doesn't matter the size. It's still the ethics behind what they're trying to do to it that I really disagree with. You should just be, this is what we're doing. If you want to try to, you should go ahead. You shouldn't be saying, we will do this if you do this. That's basically an ultimatum almost. And honestly, it's downright insulting. It would be insulting towards Steam, and it's insulting also to the consumer base. Because it shows you're not trying to give us the better deal, you're just trying to get yourself into a better position. Because what really changes for the consumer base? Nothing overly, because there's not going to be a price difference in what the games are selling for. There's maybe going to be a bit of an availability, so that way there's these epic exclusives just stop being. But it more feels like trying to bully and coerce and manipulate something else to change. And it's really a low-feeling tactic, on top of other low-feeling tactics done by the same Epic Games Store as its company. Number one, ripping titles off of to be exclusive when people have already put down money in pre-orders for said product. Number two, a Kickstarter game that's not even developed yet, only has been funded, and you're ripping it from what basically was a promise to get some of its funding for it. It really is just getting very damn shady. And this brings me into, where are you sending your feedback about your complaints? So far, I don't agree with where a lot of the feedback's gone, because a lot of it's been targeted to the devs of the games, to the developers. They aren't the people you should be angry at. You don't get mad at the developer for where the game's being sold or if it's exclusive or not. All they were behind was developing it, making it, getting it ready so that way it could be basically enjoyed by the consumers. Your targets of your feedback and your negativity and your complaint, well, I shouldn't say negativity, although that, granted, there's a lot of negativity with what the Epic Games Store has done to basically stomp itself into the picture. All that should be focused on who the publisher is, because the publisher is the one who is in talks with Epic Games Store. And they're the ones who get the final decision on is it exclusive or isn't it. Now, sometimes the developer and the publisher are just the same company. So sometimes yes, it can be, but you need to research on if that's the case or not before you get mad. The case with Metro Exodus. Developers got a lot of unnecessary flack when it wasn't them who made the decision to do it. It was the publishing company for Metro Exodus that agreed to take the Epic Games Store exclusive. Why were you going after the devs? Why were you review bombing the game? That doesn't do anything to actually get your point across. You need to figure out who is making the decision and give complaint to the people who actually are the ones behind it. Admittedly, some developers are their own publishers, but you can't just make the assumption everyone is. If you do that, then you're basically... it's basically slacktivism. Nope, is that just a rock there? Yeah, that's just a rock. I'm just babbling and losing sight of everything, but... Slacktivism is basically... leave a like and you'll help stop world poverty or world famine. So you'll leave that like. You've helped the cause. In what way? A like is not going to feed a poor, hungry, starving mouth. It's just something that makes you think you're feeling good and doing your part. You're not. Sorry to break it to you guys, but you're not. Now, if you're actually donating money or funds towards said cause, then yes, you are. And that's where I really get so irked when I read about the... In fact, another good one that's recently come up, Borderlands 3 is going to be an Epic Store exclusive. Don't take it out on Randy Pitchford or Gearbox. You can take it out on Take-Two, who is the publisher, because they're the ones who agreed to that. And honestly, I have no problem supporting Gearbox or even Take-Two. The Borderlands series has been some very good games. In fact, Borderlands pre-sequel, that's a series I want to do on the channel. I didn't give it a fair shot when it released, and I want to do it now that Borderlands is coming back to popularity with the third installment on the way. But I also want to cover it so that way I can get this point across again about how I feel with the Epic Games Store. They are the ones you should be having the negative issues with, or the publishing company. You should not be taking it out on these developers, because this is where it really tears me. I want to support Gearbox, I want to support Take-Two because of all the previous games and how they've been done and good. But I can't support Epic Games Store because of what I feel are shady and immoral business practices. We need to get foot into... It's basically saying we need... Let my emotions take me a little bit. Epic Games Store basically said we need to get our foot in the door, and so we're going to boot that door down with a foot through it. Instead of just opening the door saying, we're here as well, it's okay if we come in and do our thing as well. If I liken it to anything recently, I'd probably liken what the Epic Games Store is doing towards how Trump's political campaign went to actually get that nut job in as President of the United States of America. Thank God I live in Canada, but it's basically whatever publicity they can get is just their name further out there for more people to possibly think of. It's bad tactics, bad popularity, basically getting infamy in order to get yourself further. You should not be basing your anything about trying to get that kind of publicity. It's just stupid. Good will sell, good will get known, good will spread. That is why you should be focusing on that so greatly. If Epic can do better practices, I like the idea that it is trying to give a smaller split of, or a bigger share to what the developers and the publishers are putting out there. But I can't support it when doing it at things that just feel wrong, feel like just unethical as a business practice. If they can come around and change that, I will think about supporting it, because I want to support more developers and publishers. I don't want to support the shady tactics and the shady steps that the game store is taking in order to get itself known. A little bit of a roadmap that I think Epic Games Store should take. Release more titles on your store. They don't have to be exclusives. Just give people an extra choice of whether they want to or not. Build a better framework for what the store offers. Give people a way of knowing actually what they're getting. I actually have no idea what the refund policy is on the Epic Games Store, if there is one. The fact that Steam actually went and made one shows it's trying to open up and give its consumers better options and choices. Basically, look out for them a little more. Where is that with Epic Games Store? Because I haven't seen that yet. I've only seen them trying to get their name known and out there by trying to make themselves seem like a very big and wanting choice for developers or publishers, because they'll make a bigger cut of money off it. I don't actually see it as something where they're trying to keep their consumers and customers with a good option, another way to get better access to the game or the products. So if Epic Games Store really does want to sell itself in the way it is, it needs to stop, get itself some better direction, and maybe some more people who can actually say, is this the way we should be taking this? And just build yourself as a storefront better. Better customer service, where it's not ripping games off of other stores or out of stores. People have already laid down money for it. And just, honestly, build yourself up as a good place to... good option to want to go. Not something where if I want to spend the money here, that means I'm also supporting these kind of business decisions. And for the tweets from the high-ups at Epic Games Store who are walking back on these exclusivity deals and trying to coerce Steam into changing their ways, just fucking stop. You want to have your own platform, you have your own platform. But don't try to bully your way into the market to try to get yourself a better standing point with people. Just be honest, try to offer a good store. Just make yourself a good choice in general, and you'll probably get more people choosing you. You don't need to do this dumb shit. Keep it simple, stupid. A phrase that really needs to be thought of more and more as things progress. And honestly, just a little rant I have about what I think of the Epic Games Store. I have no problem with the studios that do want to get a bit more revenue to them for their product, because honestly, the devs, they've really earned it. You have no idea how difficult it actually does get to be to create a game until you actually try learning a bit of code and doing it yourself. Because that was actually an option I had. I was wondering about what direction do I take my life. I'm a bit of an idea guy. I can talk and have opinions and think, and I have no problem about making them vocal, as this episode, probably the last, is kind of said. So I was wondering where I might take that. So I thought, you know what? Maybe I should try making my own game. Get a foot that way. I can come up with ideas. I have certain thinking about what kind of game I'd like. My first idea was kind of a story platformer. But you don't really notice or realize how difficult and how time-consuming it is going to be until you try starting and going into it. And I really have to commend everyone who is a game developer. I really have to give props out to the ones I've had the privilege and just the good luck to be able to talk to through my channel so far. Dino System and even Warcube. I actually got a chance to have some comments just left by developers of those games, and that is incredible. These guys are working hard and... Oh, excuse me, sorry about that. Hard workers doing amazing jobs, and it's just... Let me see if I can actually close that off, because that is such a gorgeous view, isn't it? Oh, let me see, where's my key bindings? Is there a way to hide the UI? Oh, come on. Is there not a way to hide the UI? Ah, shoot, I thought there would have been a way to do that. Open map code. Okay, well, unfortunately, I can't get rid of the little bit of UI in the bottom corner there, but we'll just go off on this view. Developers, I have to commend them. They've done amazing work, and they deserve to get rewarded for that work. That's why I'm always happy and eager to see what comes next in an early access game. Because the devs are usually trying their hardest to make it what they really want. There are some cases where they aren't, but for the two I've met, and hopefully others, I can help get their names out and some communication or feedback given to them. I just really want to say, you guys are goddamn amazing. And I want to support you, but I also can't support when people are doing bad or wrong things. It's something I think all of us sort of have, is that we don't agree to wanting to support the bad guy. We don't want to support the shady, the scummy, It doesn't feel right to us, guys. And that's my stance with the Epic Games Store. If they improve, I will look into it more. But as it stands, because they want these exclusives, they're not afraid to rip things off of Steam, even Kickstarters that don't even have anything yet, and just take them for their own. And just going back on what they say they'll do, I just can't support that. Epic Games Store, you want to get yourself known, do some self-improvement first. That's the only thing I can really say to you. And with that, and this wonderful view, I think we're going to close out another episode of Call of the Wild. Thank you guys very much for listening and just watching. Granted, not a lot was really going on other than me rambling a bit, but still, I hope it's a little way to give some insight to how I think, and I hope you guys think a bit too. So, survivors, thank you very much for watching another episode. I will see you in another video coming up very soon. Please remember to do take care and stay alive.